All right, so I want to read a little bit about it's a textbook called Introduction to Sociology. It's page 85, and I'm gonna link the textbook in the description. I have the free PDF, so I'm gonna figure out a way to link that in the description. If not, then I'll probably just find the name of it and just put that in there. But long story short, I want to talk about culture and society and how we are influenced and basically programmed. That's one of the ways that we are programmed is through our society. Well, actually, it is the way because they are the ones programming us. It could be like it first starts with our it first starts with our caregivers, like our parents or whoever raised us, and then it goes into our like teachers and schools, because you had this thing called hold on, let me get it right, because this is stuff that I'm actually learning, like actively learning in sociology. I'm in college for psychology, but yeah, you have agents of socialization. First, socialization is how we are taught to be members of society. It's a system intentionally set up to make us the way that we are. How we come to understand norms, or social norms, expectations for behavior, values, beliefs, symbols, language, and how to act in society. And we're programmed. Who are we programmed by, or what are we programmed by? We're programmed by the agents of society. It's called agents of socialization. You can look this up. It's like a real thing. It's nothing I'm making up. No damn conspiracy theorists, whatever the fuck bullshit. This is actually from a sociology textbook. So, agents of socialization are people or institutions that socialize us to be members of society or members of a group. All right, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can have quote unquote good or bad societies. You know, it's in the eye of the beholder. Whoever is benefiting from it will have whoever is benefiting and profiting from it, and whoever is, you know, on the shitty end of it, you know what I'm saying, they're necessarily going to be the ones to see it as good or bad. But overall, if you look at it from a bird's eye view and detach from it, it just is what it is. And if you want to, you know, shift out of this, then the best thing that you could do, in my opinion, would be to basically create your own society and at least be aware. I'm telling you this so that you can be aware of the shit of the programming that we have been, you know, what was it, acceptable to, whatever the fuck whatever the fuck the word is. My words are just not coming to me right now, but I want you to be aware of what's going on and what you're being controlled by, so that you can then be able to decipher between yourself and, you know, others, and what you've been programmed into, and what you've been basically how you've been created, how you've been formed. Like, you may think that your values and your beliefs and your thoughts are your own, but a lot of the time it's not, because we've been programmed to believe that this is right, this is wrong, this is how we should be, instead of having our own values and our own morals and things of that nature. And then you know, even it goes like so deep, bro. It's not just about the values and everything, but it starts with that. It starts with your identity and who you see yourself as and what you value and believe in. But it also goes into what you're eating, your habits, your routine. And if you look at our society right now is shit. You feel me? We got hella people poor, hella people stressed out, depressed, suicide rates going up. You got, you know, people diseased, mentally diseased, physically diseased, you know, and young people. You got young people out here sick as fuck and having diseases and stuff like that. And if you look at our family, you know, back in the ancient times, I can't really necessarily speak for it because I wasn't there, but you can see like pictures of the elders and stuff like that, and they were, you know, smiling and happy, and, you know, walking around, running, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they were still doing things. They were still active. But the elders within our families now, and the elders within our society today, they can barely walk. You know what I'm saying? They're hurt, they're in pain, they're sick, you know, and then they pass those things down to us. What they did was they passed down their values and their beliefs to us. But that belief and value was fed to her through society. You get what I'm saying? Or him through society. And it just goes on and on and on and on. If we don't stop it and become aware of the shit that's fucked up, create values that align with our own fulfillment, success, peace, and happiness, then we will forever be repeating these same cycles. So that's the point. That's the purpose of this video. So when I'm talking about agents of socialization, these are people or institutions that socialize us to be members of society and members of a group. Our first agent is always going to be our parents or our caregivers. Then school, which is an institution. This is a powerful agent. You know what I'm saying? And then not only are the teachers influencing us and programming us and to be members of society, our peers are as well, because we're looking at the peers that are the same age as us. You know what I'm saying? They look like us. They're similar to us. They relate to us. So we're looking at them to see how to behave. They're looking at us to see how to behave. And we're all kind of getting in this one little formation. Just imagine being in kindergarten and, you're looking at, or just in school in general, and you're looking at everyone to know where you fit in, because you want friends. Sometimes you want to date people and have relationships as kids and stuff like that. And you want to feel like you belong. You don't want to be the outcast or the one bullied or the one that's, seen as weird. So you kind of do whatever you need to do to fit in, and your peers will tell you what you need to do. They will show you what you need to do to fit in. And, the teachers will do the same exact thing as well. So, we're kind of programmed by, first of all, the teachers, our caregivers, our parents, and our teachers and authority figures. They are the first ones to really instill within us who we should be. They are like our first role models. They are our first, people that's telling us how to be and who to be. You know what I'm saying? And so we carry what we've learned and experienced, and what we consumed externally and internally. We take that, and when we socialize with other kids our age, we kind of say, like, this is what's right because this is what we've been taught. You know what I'm saying? So we go based on that, and then it just trickles down into a whole other thing. But let me just stay on it real quick, y'all. But you also have other agents too, other than your parents, caregivers, school, the institutions, and stuff like that. You also have social media, like TV. The media is one of the biggest fucking agents, because it's telling us how we should be, like, is basically telling us, like, our gender identity, how we should identify ourselves. You know what I'm saying? How we should identify ourselves in different little subcategories. You get what I mean? Like, it goes so deep. But what I want to discuss here right now is that culture. It says the first and perhaps most crucial elements of culture we will discuss are values and beliefs. Value does not mean monetary worth in sociology, but rather ideals or principles or standards members of a culture hold in high regard. So, like, for example, most cultures in a society hold knowledge or education in high regard. Values are deeply embedded, starting from birth, for real, and are critical for learning a culture's beliefs, which are the tenets or convictions that people hold to be true. Individual cultures in a society have personal beliefs, but they also share collective values. To illustrate the difference, U.S. citizens may believe in the American dream, that anyone who works hard enough will be successful and wealthy. Underlying this belief is the American value that wealth is important. In other cultures, success may be tied less to wealth and more to having more healthy children. So, it just depends. Like, this is why I say it's important to experience other cultures, to be open to other religions than your own, to be open to different perceptions than your own. I'm not saying that you have to adopt these beliefs, but be open to learning about them. Don't limit yourself to learning more about the world that we're living in just because your belief tells you that it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And everybody can feel however they want to feel about this, but what I want to tell you is your religion religions are most definitely limiting, especially if it depends on the mindset that you have behind it. But if you are going to, if you want to be open-minded and you want to see the world for what it truly is, you have to let go of certain rules and limits on yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like in Christianity, I've heard people say that yoga is evil and stuff like that. That will limit them from being able to experience why certain people do yoga. Certain cultures do yoga and we don't understand it because we're not in that culture. We're in this culture over here. So if you go over to that culture, you may understand, you may start to believe in, you may start to see that this is why they do it. They do it for this. And you can extract what you know, align with and what you like for your own life, and then you can, take out the things that you don't like. But you never really know. Being in a yoga can help you be in alignment with self. You know what I'm saying? Help you be in alignment mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, physically. You know what I'm saying? Stretching your body out and you're breathing while you're doing it. You're releasing energy, stagnant energy. But people are limiting themselves to it because their culture or their religion or their beliefs tell them that it's evil. And that's just one example of infinite. But all I'm trying to tell you is, if you want to experience the world for what it really is, you have to be unbiased. You have to detach yourself from societal expectations and norms. You have to become aware of what is yours, what thoughts and beliefs and values belong to you, and what you want to adopt for yourself, and what ones were programmed into you. You have to be able to unlearn and relearn, and that is called resocialization. Resocialization, some of my notes here, is the process of unlearning old norms, values, and behaviors and learning new ones to fit into a different social role or environment. For example, someone joining the military must give up civilian habits and adopt strict discipline routines and authority structures to function as a soldier. And that goes along with self-reinvention. You get what I'm saying? And in order to do that, it goes real deep, y'all. It goes real deep. I'm just trying to briefly cover the things that I've learned, and I'm kind of just jumping around. But values often suggest how people should behave, but they don't accurately reflect how people do behave. For example, values portray an ideal culture. You don't want there to be killers and murderers and thieves in society, but there are. That is the real culture. There's the ideal culture, what you want it to be like, and what it actually is. There are killers, there are thieves out here in the world. There are people trying to stop them, but they're here. You get what I'm saying? And so one of the ways that societies strive to maintain its values is through rewards and punishments. And this is something that's also in behavioral psychology as well. I believe it's called, you have conditioning. I believe it's operant conditioning. Behavioral psychologist, what's his name? Sorry, y'all. I got to get this right. Hold on. Psychologist with, let's see. It's a behavioral psychologist, y'all. I'm just trying to get his name. B.F. Skinner. Yeah, B.F. Skinner, and it's basically it's called operant conditioning. You can look into that, but basically, to give you a brief rundown of what it is, I got to refresh my memory, y'all, because I'm supposed to be doing homework right now, and I was so intrigued by the stuff I'm learning that I stopped my fucking schoolwork and studies to make a video. So I'm kind of just going off the dome here. But you have positive reinforcement and you have negative reinforcement. You also have punishment. So basically, I believe he was dealing with rats. Yeah. So here it is right here. But his name is B.F. Skinner, and he did like a experiment with rats, I believe. Hold on. B.F. Skinner, famous. I can't believe I forgot this, honestly. Yeah. So basically, he would have the rats or pigeons. He'll have them in a box called a Skinner box, and he wasn't skinning them, but he would have them in a box, and they had to press like a lever, and the reward would be that they would get food. And I believe he had an electric grid he had an electric grid at the bottom of the thing. So it's I think if they pressed the wrong one or something like that, it would shock them, and if they pressed the other one, it would give them food and stuff like that. So it was the reward is I get the food. So I'm going to keep pressing this lever, because if I keep pressing it, then I get the food. But I'm not going to press this lever anymore, because if I press it, then I'm going to get punished. I'm going to get shocked. So that's kind of how it is. But it's basically, they will program that's how, the same thing with dogs. Like, you programming them, you give them a treat whenever my dog over there, she don't like hearing that word. Well, she loves hearing that word. That's the problem. But you'll give them a treat if they go to the bathroom outside. You know what I'm saying? If they did something good, you'll reward them with a treat. If they do something bad, you might, yell at them or punish them by putting them in the cage or popping them or something like that. And same thing with kids, whatever. But they do this to us in society. So I'm going to reread this one line again. It says, one of the ways society strives to maintain its values is through rewards and punishment. When people observe the norms of society and uphold its values, they're often rewarded. Like, a boy who helps an elderly woman board a bus may receive a smile and a thank you. A business manager who raises the profit margins may receive a quarterly bonus. People sanction unwanted or inappropriate behaviors by withholding support. So if you don't like their behavior, if it's not aligned with what you fucking with or what society wants, then people will punish them by withholding support, approval, or permission, or by implementing sanctions, which sanctions are ways to encourage conformity and cultural norms or rules. So basically, getting arrested or getting a fine or something like that. Moral of story. Let me get to this bottom part. Breaking norms and rejecting values can lead to cultural sanctions, such as earning a negative label like lazy, or to legal sanctions like getting locked the hell up. So with that being said, we are basically, if we don't conform, we're punished for it. And we're punished by either being shunned from our family, shunned or talked about. Like, for example, me. I'm plant-based. I don't eat meat. My family eats meat. So I'm seen as kind of like a weirdo in the family for being a little bit more hippie-like, or I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm a hippie. I'm just more natural. I'm holistic. I like nature. I like being in nature, and I like connecting to nature. But to my family, they may be like, what the fuck? Like, we don't do that shit. We don't do none of the stuff that you're doing. We didn't even raise you to be this way. And it's just like, well, the way you raised me to be was someone who dies of fucking gout and disease at a fucking age 40. You know what I'm saying? That's who you raised me to be. You raised me to be someone who slaves to a job every single day until I fucking retire and I'm too fucking old to enjoy my life. You raised me to be someone who is unhappy, who is unfulfilled, and who is disappointed with their life. Someone who self-betrays and neglects my actual dreams and values and hopes and wishes and goals. That's who you raised me to be. But who I am is someone who wants freedom, who wants peace, who wants happiness, who wants joy. And what do I have to do to get that? Well, that's what I've been spending my entire life figuring out, because I wasn't taught these things by my family. So, and these things, like, I've been studying, herbalism. I mean, I'm an herbalist. I'm an astrologist. I dibble and dabble in the spiritual realm. I dibble and dabble in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? And the metaphysical realm. The metaphysical, but also I meant to say psychological realm. Like, I'm in school for psychology to learn myself and learn how to, be happy, be fulfilled. And so, I've been studying fitness. I have my personal trainer certification. I have my wellness coach certification. And these are ways that I've done these things so that I can learn how to be better for myself and also help other people do the same exact thing, which is what my channel was about. So, people can label me as, the hippie or the weirdo or I'm just outcast, or, like I don't care about my family because I don't come around as much or something like that. But the reality is, I value my peace and I value, who I am becoming, and I value my ideal self, the person that I want to see, my higher self, my highest potential, my soul. My soul is calling me to be happy. You know what I'm saying? We all want to be happy. We all have dreams of being all these things. That's what we want. So, you know what I'm saying? When you break free from the societal norms, judgment comes, you know what I'm saying? Rejection comes, being shunned or kicked out, abandonment can come. And people don't want to feel that. People don't want to be the outcast or abandoned or judged or rejected. People hate that. That's like their worst fear. A lot of people. And so they just conform and they just do what they're told because they don't want to have these labels and they care too much about what people think of them. But I don't give a shit about what people think of me. I did for a very long time, but it's like if you live your life giving so much shit, so many shits about how people feel about you, then, you know, in the end, you're going to be the one unhappy. Everybody else is still going to be moving on with their life. And honestly, people don't really care too much about you anyway because everybody is self-absorbed. Everybody is so into themselves. They may say little things about you, but they don't really give a shit. Not as much as you do about yourself. You get what I'm saying? As you should about yourself. You feel me? And I'm not going to say people don't care about you. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying people people have their own life. And if they are giving so many fucks about your life and not their own, then that just lets you know that they don't have no fucking life to live. They're not living no life. So my advice to you is to become aware of, you know, this societal program and start learning about this stuff. And this is, you know, you can subscribe to my channel, you can subscribe to my blog, because this is literally what I talk about. I'm teaching you how to re-socialize with basically unlearning and relearning. I'm teaching you self-awareness. I'm teaching you, you know, whole person development. I'm teaching you basically how to get to success and fulfillment the way that I am. And to success, I know that's in the eye of the beholder, but I'm just going to say reaching my highest potential, being free in all aspects of life, mentally free, financially free, spiritually free, you know what I'm saying, physically free, not bound to anything, not limited in any way. And, you know, just, you know, subscribe to my shit if you really want to learn more about this stuff. But I'm going to keep it coming. As I learn, you learn. As I grow, you grow. And, you know, whatever mistakes I learn along the way, I'm going to just, you know, come and be transparent about this shit, let you know what's going on. But moral of story, we are definitely programmed in this society to be slaves, mental slaves and physical slaves to a system that benefits off of us running it. Think of, you know, I don't know if y'all ever saw Rick and Morty, but it was where he had like the multiverse and the teeny verse and the tiny verse and all that kind of shit, the mini verse. And basically Rick created an entire universe to run his car battery. You feel me? Like, he literally created a whole universe in a box, and the people were like riding bikes, and if they keep riding the bikes, then they you know, keep the battery on. If they stop riding the bikes, then the battery is off. But in the society, in the mini-verse that he made, he basically told it was like something that they had some kind of purpose. He gave them some kind of purpose to make them want to ride the bikes continuously. And then somebody else started creating a bike. I mean, they own a little mini verse. It was a whole thing. But what I'm trying to say is that's basically how it is. Like, we're just running somebody's car battery. We're running somebody's we're doing something for whoever's high up, whoever's over this entire thing. We are just little rat race, just running, constantly chasing success, constantly chasing money, chasing something to feel more valuable in the society that we're in. But if we go outside of this society and we realize, like for example, in Thailand, you go to Thailand and, you know, shit ain't even that high. You can pay like $1, $3 for some food. You know what I'm saying? $300, $400 for rent. You know what I mean? Like, you can actually live a life out there, and they don't value the money. The money is just, you know, what keeps shit circulating, what keeps shit moving. It's not about the money. It's about, you know, communities. It's about the people. It's about the, you know what I'm saying, the culture, the religion, or togetherness. You know what I mean? It's different. It's a whole different vibe, a whole different culture. But since we're in America, and where maybe the UK or wherever else you are, you feel as if this is how things are, and that's how they have to be, and you're just stuck in it. You have to keep moving. Nah, just be still, become self-aware, and, you know, just pay attention to how you feeling and how certain shit makes you feel. If you work in this job and you really hate this shit, you know what I'm saying, quit it. I mean, what the fuck, you might have to save a little bit. You might have to work it a little bit and then build something on the side. You may have to, you know, save your money and move abroad. Who knows? Whatever you have to do, but make a plan for yourself to get the fuck out of there. Just get the fuck out of there. Don't do something because you feel like you have to, because that's what you were told to do. Do it because you want to do it. Don't do what you're told. You're not a slave. You're a fucking human being, and you deserve to be at peace. You deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be free. Peace.